Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be talking about rubber knives, specifically airsoft rubber knives. So you can go from this, a £9.99 eBay special, to this, some kind of tactical legend thing that everybody loves. Remember guys, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. We upload 2 videos a week, every Wednesday and Saturday, so remember to subscribe. So as I sat around bored and I looked across at my quite cheap and shiny plastic knife, I thought I can do something with that. So for a pretty cheap amount of money, as I already had Krylon paints in the cupboard, I decided to give it a bit of a custom job and to also do a paracord wrap on the handle. So you might wonder why I bother painting a knife to make it look any different, because it doesn't obviously make any difference to the way it operates. When I first started Airsoft many years ago, I played at a site that wouldn't let you carry a rubber knife. In fact, they wouldn't let you even carry the sheath for the rubber knife. If you had it on you, you get sent home. Instead, they liked you to go around like some kind of tactical molester and tickle people with your fingers to do a knife kill. Not really my kind of thing. Fortunately, things have moved on now, and the sites that I play at now say you can't get a knife kill unless you've got a rubber knife, hence me carrying one. And to prove its worth, I got 3 knife kills at the weekend, just for a bit of fun. So the only problem is when you buy these things new, they come really shiny, horrible plastic. And that's fair enough, they're cheap. So I looked at it and I thought, yeah, okay, it does what I want it to do, but it can look better. And I sat on the sofa and I thought, you know what, I've got Krylon paints that I use for painting guns, so why not use a few and see what I can do with a knife. So what I'm going to do tonight is do a little bit of a tutorial so you can actually see how to do it. And this is really straightforward stuff. Once I'd painted it, I thought, I'll do a paracord grip as well. And no shame, I went on YouTube and looked for a video on how to do a paracord grip, and that's what I did. So you end up from going from this, I get my other one tied onto my kit, and then you end up with something like that. And this nice green painted along with the actual sheath as well, and the paracord grip on there. And it just gives it a little bit more realism. So that's the original one, and that's my version. So you need 3 things to carry this out. Oh, well, first one, most obvious, is a rubber knife. This is the Simon one, as I mentioned earlier. It helps if it has removable grips to make the painting a little bit easier. This one was £9.99. I'll see if I can get the actual page, so I can leave the link below. They can vary between £9.99 and about £15 generally. That seems to be around the same. But they are exactly the same knife. This one is the tan colour. It doesn't actually really matter what colour you get because obviously you're painting it, but the tan one's a nice one to start with. Okay, the second thing you need is paracord. Now, paracord, you can get about 100 metres of green paracord for £8. You can get shorter lengths for less. So it's always good to have paracord in your kit because you never know when you might need it. It's brilliant stuff, this is. So yeah, get some paracord, chuck it in your kit. So the third thing you're going to need is, sorry. The third thing you're going to need is Krylon paint or any sort of camouflage flat paint. This stuff isn't cheap, to be honest. It's about £12 a can, but the more you buy at the time, the better, because it saves you paying multiple postage, because it can be quite expensive to send paint in the post, just remember that, because the post office got all upset about sending pressurised containers or paint or something, I don't know. But, although it might seem expensive, Krylon paint goes a very long way. I've already painted 3 guns with this paint, and I've still got enough to paint the knives. So, whoops, there's still quite a lot in there. This one I've had for about 10 years, and there's still paint in it. I've painted all kinds of things with it. So it goes a real long way. So you get good value for money with that.
So first things first, we take it out the packet. Once it's out the packet, just check it over, make sure everything's all in one piece, no cracks or breaks. You then take the bolts out the handle, and the other side there's like little grommets, and you take those out, and both sides of the handle will be free of any pieces. Now you'll find that sometimes there's a few burrs on the handles from where the plastic's been cast. Personally, I like to file those off or cut them down with a knife. Okay, the first steps now, we're just cleaning down the plastic parts with a little bit of white spirit or rubbing alcohol, anything like that, just to take any grease or fingerprints off. It doesn't have to be super accurate. It just helps the paint stick a little bit better to the plastic. So once that's done, I dry them down with the cloth and I get ready to give it the first coat of paint. Now the thing to remember when painting these things, it's always best in my experience is to paint them with a lighter colour first. So at the moment I'm doing a light earth colour. As the paint dries pretty quickly, I don't mind doing both sides. So I'll put a decent coat on there. Krylon paint generally dries within 15 minutes to the touch. It won't have gone hard, but it'll dry a little. So the next step is to get some vegetation and go with the slightly dark colour. So in this case, going with the dark green. And you only need a few leaves, a few twigs, something like that. Place them on, just give it a few squirts of paint. You don't have to give it a lot of paint, just little bits at a time. Check it over, see how it looks, and then let it dry in the sun. And the same for the handle. So after the 15 minutes we go and try a different colour. So in this case it's a brown colour. So do exactly the same again, just orientate the leaves a little bit differently, and again short sharp blasts with the paint, not too much, you don't want to be clogging it up with paint. So a little bit at a time, check it over, see how it looks. Now remember, if you go too dark you can always put the light paint back on to bring the colour back to a light colour if you need it to, and just experiment and see how you go. So keep layering the paint as you need to, just to get the desired effect, and then once you've got it to where you want and you're happy with the results, let it dry properly. And I'd recommend giving it 24 hours for the paint to go properly hard, because you don't want to accidentally rub it off when you're starting to fit the parts back together. So give it a good 24 hours in a nice dry place to dry properly.
You've seen my original knife with the paracord on and the paint scheme. So we've now finished the painting of the sheath and we've finished the painting of the knife, and we'll put the handles back on the rubber blade. And I think they look pretty good. But the next part of this, the trick, or the next step really, is to put the paracord on. Now, the one I did last time was a very simple paracord. I'm not an expert on putting paracord on anything, and I did what most people do and follow the tutorial on YouTube. So what I'm going to do is start on this one. I'm going to try and do it a little bit differently. I've got a length of paracord. It's roughly about 2 meters long. The first thing I want to do is sort out the open ends. So to do that, you need some kind of flame, a match, a flamethrower, whatever you need, and you need to melt the ends to stop these inner parts from escaping. So if we just melt these down, let it burn for a sec, and it basically turns it into a bit of a glue on the end, and you get like a round blob. Now you can sort of squidge it down, change the shape of it just to get rid of it, but that burns and it hurts a lot, so we won't do that. So there you go. It's a bit like wax once it goes off. So I just tidied that up a little bit, and I think the other end is already done because I did that the last time I did a paracord. So what you do is you then make a loop. So make the ends equal and you put it under a knife. So when you start doing the paracord, I've actually started this here just to get it right. You end up with your long piece, about 2 meters long, and you get it into a loop. And you put that loop behind the knife like so. You then bring it round, that side first, this side second, and then you loop it over, go through it and pull it really tight. And you can see me doing that now. So I'll do it now, and it just keeps going the same way. So we've got the first two parts on. We turn the knife over. We get this piece that goes over here. This piece goes across the top, like so. This bit then goes down through, oops, down through there. You pull it through, and then you pull the whole thing tight. Straighten up the knot so it's in the right place, pull it really tight, so then you've got another loop of cord on there, and then I try to push it all together so it's nice and tight. Then flip it over and you do exactly the same again. So this one goes over the top, this one goes over the top of both, and then this loops back through there. Oops, I'll do that bit again. So remember, right hand side goes over, left side goes over, but you leave a loop there. And this goes down through there. Pull it through. And again, pull it tight. Make sure it's bunched up together. Pull it as tight as you can. Now, one thing I'll notice with these knives, you can't go right from the very end because you've got this finger loop here. So I always start a little bit further up. Flip the knife over and do exactly the same again. Over that way, over this way, leaving a loop, thread this through and pull it tight. And you keep going with that until you get to the end, which you'll see in a second. So you can see we've gone all the way up the handle. Now obviously if it's a straight handle, you probably get a bit of a neater job doing it this way, but it still works well with these. It's nice to hold, it gives it a bit of grip, makes the actual handle thicker. So once you get to the end, really tighten it up as much as you can, give it a good pull on there. Now what you possibly could do is take these handles off altogether and wrap around the rubber part, but I don't think that'd work. With it being a rubber knife, I think it'd flex too much and your paracord would come off, so it needs this hard surface to grip to. So once you've got it tight as you possibly can, really give it a good go because you don't want it to come undone. Snip the ends off, like so. Now I tend to leave them a little bit further away, but you can get them really close if you want. Try and keep that tension in there. The first thing you do, the same as before, you melt the ends. You give it a burn, let it go, and then you use your scissors and you just press it down like so into the other parts of the paracord. Once you've done that side, do this side. Try not to melt your knife while you're doing this.
Or your fingers.
Or your fingers, like I do regularly. And there you go, the paracord's on and it's stuck down. Get rid of the bits just hanging off there, and there you go. One paracorded knife. You can push the ropes together a little bit, but there you go, and it just gives you a nice grip. It just feels nice in the hand. Now, as I said before, this one's slightly different. What I did was the same as with that one. I had a loop which came down here. You then bring it back to the top, you wrap it all the way around from either side, and then you basically loop it back underneath and you pull the part to the top and cut it off. There is another video I've seen on YouTube showing you how to do that, but there's various ways you can do paracord. So these are the two most common, I think, that you see on knives. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a thumbs up. If you've got any more questions about what we did, please leave a comment in the comments below. And stay tuned for more Airsoft content in the future. If there's anything in particular you'd like to see, give me a shout. Thanks for watching and see you soon.